then play slower. But sometimes I make, then play slower. That would be ridiculous. That's the level you want to play on. So what are the perfect left-hand exercises? Because they're always there. There are always exercises you can do that will mean more to your development than any other single thing that you can do at the moment. And you should look for those things, wherever you are. Also, on a larger scale, what is the single most effective thing that you could be practicing that will mean more to your overall skill level than any other thing, right? So let's say you're a singer-songwriter and you really want to play better guitar. So where is your limiting step? Is it, is it the amount of chords you know? Is it what you can do? Is it what you can do with each chord? Is it fills in between when you sing? What is the next step for you? Where can you make the biggest difference? Because that's where you can get the biggest results, audible results that will impress yourself, right? But when it comes to technique and, developing, I had this question on YouTube. It says, what exercises do you recommend that have total domain of my movements, right? That's ambition. I like that. But what that is different for everyone, because you can go. Let's say I'm just doing a simple exercise like just 6 notes up, right, on one string. Let me see if I can. No, not the right thing. I lost my sound right there. So let's say you do 6 notes with either a legato or alternate picking. Well, that incorporates some challenges, but it's pretty close to your natural way of moving your fingers. The wavy movement is natural to us, doing like this, right? But as soon as you have to press this down and then this and then that and then this, there's kind of weird combinations, and especially combinations between the fourth and the third finger, having to go like that. Then you're in trouble. So I would start with the wavy movements of just 3 notes up or 3 notes down, and you can do a lot of different things with that when you play solos. You can go, or, right? Just the wavy movement, right? Simply just 3 notes at a time, or back and forth like this. Right? Very, very accessible to everyone because it's a natural movement. And then the next level is really doing that up and down stuff, right? And I could show you a ton of different things you could play. You can also do these things. You can say, I like to start with the first thing, right? And if I'm playing on one string, what combinations can I do? It's a simple little math problem of saying, okay, if I'm starting with my first finger, let's just say that is your ground rule, and I'm on one string, what combinations can I do? Well, I can play this. And let's say I'm doing 4 notes, right? Okay, so now you're doing your own exercises. I'm playing this, then I might play the third, right? Just random stuff. Then I might play the number 2. Okay, then I need 4 notes, so 1, 2, 3. And then, I want to return to this, right? So 1, 2, 3, and then the third again. So 1, 3, 2, 3. Right? There you have an exercise. This is one of the hardest exercises we have because it involves that fourth finger, third finger cooperation that can be a little bit tricky. For most people, it is the least intuitive, the least natural to you. But you can still become extremely good at it. You will just never become as good at it as the wavy movements, right? So it's a great thing to practice these things. And then I can devise another exercise. Let's say I'm starting with my fourth finger and I need 4 notes. Well, I go, that's my fourth finger, and then I can do the middle, I can do the bottom, and I can do the middle. I'm just coming up with these so I can end up on my fourth finger again. Also an exercise or a little lick, a little sequence that involves some coordination, right? But you're really the best determinant of what's the next level for you. Because, I would say if you're starting out, do the wavy thing, right? Make sure that whatever you play, right? Do the wavy thing. That's the easiest thing to get started with, and it's gonna, when you're playing fast, it's going to be, most of what you do is going to be that wavy movement, because the brain loves to do things that aren't that hard, that it can become so comfortable with that it's easy, and it's extremely effective. Right? And you can basically consider the fretboard a ladder, right? Like 6 strings, and you got 3 notes per string, and then it's a ladder of going up and down, or just, 3 notes here, 3 notes on the next string, then you turn around. As long as you maintain that movement of like that with your fingers, right? And then the next level is basically to take things that seem a little bit difficult, a little bit uncomfortable, and then just to grind that all you can. And make that exercise, you could say, something that you focus on throughout weeks, right? Instead of saying, oh, that's interesting, let me do a little bit of that, and then you forget about it after 3 days, you make it a project. You take out your metronome, and then let me see if I can just, you can't see it in the image. Then you take out the metronome. Can you hear it even? Right? And then you simply start. You start using the metronome, and the cool thing about the metronome is that you can measure how fast you become. I don't want to play fast, Claus. I want to play with feeling. Okay, that's fine. But still, whenever you play, it's a good idea to be able to play it much faster than you need to when you're in a playing situation, because that means that it becomes so easy that you don't even have to use that speed. You can play it at a half tempo, but that'll be just like, Itsy Bitsy Spider, right? But you use the metronome, and then you crawl up the metronome. Play, say, 100 repetitions at each 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And you keep on doing that, and then, you don't want to count all the time. So you might have a watch that says, okay, I know now that I'm doing about 20 repetitions per second, or minute, sorry, whatever it is, right? And I need to do, 100 repetitions before I move on. So I'm just going to do times that up with 20 a minute, means I have to do 5 minutes of going at the speed level to have 100 repetitions. Or you could also count them. It becomes a nice little meditation. And then you simply repeat them with all the clarity, all the precision and accuracy that you can possibly do, no matter what technique you're trying to master, right? Whether it's hammer-ons, pull-offs, alternate picking, economy picking, whatever it is, you do everything perfect, and you do not push for speed. And even though I say this like 10 times a day in YouTube videos, and to myself and to everyone else, we keep pushing for speed because the brain is an idiot at this point. It's the most dysfunctional, ineffective strategy there is to push for speed. And I see that the consequence of that, the symptoms of that disease in so many people's playing, also in top players who keep, teaching that to other people, because that's the way they got to their technique. They're very flawed and non-satisfactory technique to play, right? And I'm not naming names here because that creates a bomb of negative comments, because we really put our idols high on the pedestal, right? But so what we need to just focus on precision and accuracy, and then take that metronome up one step at a time. Once you get to the highest level of what you can do while remaining perfectly relaxed and with absolute accuracy, making 0 mistakes. And also, I can't play anything without making 0 mistakes, Claus. Then play slower. But sometimes I make, then play slower. That would be ridiculous. That's the level you want to play on, right? So don't tell me that you can't play without making mistakes, because that just shows that you're hypnotized by this idea that we need to push for speed. If this is the drill, and you at this level keep making a little bit of mistakes, right? The kind of the fourth finger doesn't hit the string right, then slow down. But that's ridiculous, Claus. Then I have to. That's the level for you. And because we can't come to terms with that, then we just keep pushing for speed because, I'm this good. No, you're not. You're building in mistakes all the time. You're practicing making thousands of mistakes. Slow the F down, right? All the way down to where you can stay completely relaxed. Have the metronome go click, click, ba da da. Once you have something that is 1,000% accurate, then you speed it up by just one click on the metronome, and then you do another 100 repetitions, right? You keep being relaxed, another 100 at the next level, at the next click, right? We're talking incremental improvements. Once you hit the the high ceiling of what you can do and you start making mistakes again, then you go down 10 clicks, go back 10 clicks, and then do 200 reps at every level until you then exceed the previous level, right? Play the metronome game. That's the way of doing it. And if you're willing to do this and keep your brain from doing the idiotic thing all the time because it's going to keep pushing for speed, even though you know differently, right? Or you know better. If you're willing to make it do this all the time, then that incredible technique is, available to you. If you don't do this, then it isn't. It's as simple as that. Then you will develop some amount of proficiency when it comes to playing fast or playing faster line, but you'll be dissatisfied with the result every time. And you go like, I hope nobody realized that was real, full of inaccuracies and full of mistakes, right? So follow this prescription here. And for the perfect exercise is always that which brings you trouble, that brings you a challenge. And you can keep doing that over and over again. But just remember that when push comes to shove, and you look at all the players out there, what they mostly do when they play fast is right? It's mostly like that. So don't be too caught up with the fact that the pinky and the third finger won't really cooperate as well as the first and the second finger. See you in another video. My name is Claus, and don't forget to subscribe, go download the free course, and hit the bell icon, and I'll see you in the next video.